Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Saturday Morning Coaches Show. And for the second week in a row, we actually have two players with us. Last week, Boo Wilkerson and Grayson McClure. And today, a couple of Lady Cats have come in. We've got senior Kate Womack and also freshman Kenzie Willis. And so we're very glad to have both of them with us today. And Clark Cipoletta has brought Day Hall with him today, and we'll be talking to him. Alexi Upton will be along a little bit later, so it's going to be a very, very full show. Real quickly, we'll try to run through everything else that's going on. Lady Cat Soccer won last night at home over Nevada Community 2-1, and district will start for them and also for the Wildcat soccer team on Tuesday. And the Lady Cats will have two home matches at Prim Stadium this week. Tuesday at Greenville, or actually Greenville coming here, and then Friday Lindale will be here. Wildcats baseball is going to try to get in two scrimmages this week. It's going to be a wet week, so it's going to be real interesting to see what they can get in. But the Wildcats are supposed to scrimmage over at Sherman on Monday, and then at Friday at home against Terrell. Lady Cat softball scrimmaging today in Rockwall. Their first scrimmage was rained out against Gilmer, and they will be scrimmaging Rockwall in the Colony over at Rockwall, and that'll start at 10 o'clock today. And Tuesday at Wiley East scrimmage, and then at North Lamar scrimmage on Friday, also including Gunter. And everything we should say is weather permitting, of course. It won't affect powerlifting, we wouldn't think, unless there's some real terrible weather. But that's on Thursday, and they'll be at Paris for the powerlifting teams. Wildcats golf Tuesday in McKinney, Lady Cats golf Monday in Prosper. And one final thing, the Wildcats tennis team, I believe they were in Paris on Friday, and this Friday they'll be at a Tyler Lee tournament. So busy, busy, busy. It is February, and by the end of the month, every team that plays during the spring will be in action at some time or the other. I guess when they run that first track meet on February 20th, and that'll include everybody. But let's go ahead and dive into our conversation here. Again, we have Kate Womack, senior, and Kenzie Willis, freshman for the Lady Cats basketball team. And Kate, it was kind of a tough night last night at Mount Pleasant. Tell us about that game a little bit.
Well, we played very well in the first quarter. And then the second quarter, we just had a few turnovers, and then we just couldn't catch back up. But I don't know, we just got to let it go. We have T-High Friday. We got to win that game to have a for sure spot in playoffs.
Yeah, that is a big one. Texas High is tied with Mount Pleasant for second place, and we're in fourth place. We're one game ahead of Lindale. And the good thing for us, Lindale lost last night, and so they are still one game behind. They play Greenville, and the odds are, you would figure that they will win that game. So it'd be on us to play Texas High. What do you remember about Texas High? That was a close game that we played on their court.
It was a game that we should have had. I don't even know. We lost by 2 points.
Maybe one or two. Yeah, it was close.
I remember it came down to one of the last shots. But I think we for sure got them this week. We've worked hard. We planned for the game. We've watched their film. We know what we did wrong. And I think that this time we got them.
All right. You have so many roles on the team. You're a tall guard, so and you can also switch, to where you can play, like the forward position. You're kind of the Swiss Army knife of the Lady Cats team. Coach Tisdale likes your flexibility, and it came in last year when we had such short point guards, and sometimes like Roy City had a 6-foot point guard or something, so you're called in on your defense and stuff. You kind of like all those roles you have?
Yeah, I think it gives me a bunch of options. If there's a guard that's too fast, I guard a post, and it makes it easier because if Hannah gets in foul trouble, then it's easy. I can go down to the post and we can sub in for another guard. But yeah, I do like all the positions.
Have to mix in there and get the tough stuff, those rebounds and stuff, but you're good at that.
Yeah.
So as a senior player, there's only two of you on the team this year. and a lot of Kenzies and other freshmen on the team. Do they come to you sometime and say, what can I expect, or do they lean on you a little bit for advice and stuff?
I mean, Kenzie does. Not really. I mean, we practice every day, and I mean, we go through things. And like yesterday, I was like, "Hey, Addison, come up," when they were pressing us and stuff, and they listen to me. But normally, like, they know just as much as I do.
Has this been just a whirlwind career for you? I mean, have you gotten to senior year so fast in basketball?
Yeah, it came unbelievably fast. I tell her every day, I'm like, it comes way faster than you think. Like, you think you hate practices, but now I only have one left, and I'm like, wow, it's crazy how fast it came.
Yeah, I went to the football banquet, and they asked those seniors, you know, what would you tell yourself when you were a freshman? And almost they all say, you know, enjoy everything, because it's going to go so fast, and you know, listen to the coaches and do all that kind of stuff. And so,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And Kenzie Willis with us. Kenzie, what's it like as a freshman jumping right on the varsity? How's that been this year?
I was a little nervous at first, I'm not gonna lie, but I like being with the seniors and making new friends and stuff, so it's been nice.
I assume you grew up playing basketball and everything?
Yes, sir. I've been playing since upwards, so.
Just at what age do you remember playing first?
Probably like 7 or 8, probably.
Yeah, just bouncing that basketball.
Yes, sir.
You and Kenzie play? I mean, did you and Keyston play some?
Oh, yes. We played all the time. And
Is he tough on you?
Yes, very.
That's good though, isn't it? You know, I think that the young ladies that play with their brothers and stuff, it prepares you for, you know, some really tough physical players.
Yes, sir.
You like point guard?
I do at sometimes. Sometimes I like being in the middle. She's had me in the middle a lot lately, but I mean, I like playing both. So.
You think you're a more natural shooting guard? Maybe, you know, if there was another point guard.
Yes, probably, especially with my height. So.
Yeah. Like shooting those threes.
Yes, sir.
Do you lean on seniors, you know, to help you out and stuff?
Yeah, I use Kate to help me out. I mean, sometimes I ask her what I can do better and things, and what she thinks about this and that. So.
You have a favorite game so far this year that you recall that just went really good for you?
Probably when we played Lindo.
Uh-huh.
The last time we played Lindo, I think I played really good.
That was an amazing game, you know, on their court, and it just really. Kate, you've had a lot of games. You remember one that kind of sticks out as one of your favorites?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. I'd probably say from last year when we were in the Winsboro tournament. I think that's when I was starting on the bench, and that's when I really showed myself. I did really good in that tournament, and after that tournament, I started playing more than some of the starters and stuff. That's when I really earned my time, is in the Winsboro tournament last year.
You know, as I was thinking of the games that you had played and tried to pick one out, and I thought of that Winsboro game in the Winsboro tournament. It was an early morning game. It must have been like 9 o'clock in the morning, and they brought every student from every school in there from Winsboro, and they had the football players or the athletes right behind your bench, and every time Coach Tisdale would start to talk to you, they would just make all kinds of noise.
Yeah, they did.
And it seemed to annoy you girls, and you decided you were going to teach them. I know Sadaidriene was really fired up.
Yeah,
But you had a good game in that one. I think maybe turned an ankle right near the end or something like that.
In the Emory game, towards the end of the tournament, I did.
But I think you were able to come back during the tournament and play.
I did come back. I just wrapped my foot and took a bunch of ibuprofen. But
All right, senior night coming up. That'll be big for you and Cole Bria,
Yes.
basketball players that have been around.
it will be.
All right. And Kenzie, what are your thoughts on senior night for Kate and Cole Bria?
I'm going to be really sad. You know, I enjoy their company. Cobria, she's funny. She gives me a lot of laughs. Kate, she takes me home every day. I'm literally basically with her every day, so I don't want them to leave, but I know they'll do good in college. So.
Sometimes I wonder who gets more emotional, the seniors or the underclassmen.
Definitely me.
I remember the softball game one time. The seniors were pretty composed, and they were getting all their goodies and everything. and one of the underclassmen, the tears were coming. And she was a real stoic player too. It was not one you expected, but she was very emotional about, that's something else when you realize that something is coming to an end, but there's always something else.
Yeah, there is.
Best of luck, girls, on Tuesday as we play Texas High, and then after that we'll hopefully prepare for the playoffs, or there'll be some kind of a play-in or seeding game or some kind of that, or determine playoff spots and all that. So lots coming up for the Lady Cats. And again, for the Lady Cats this week, it is Texas High on Tuesday, and a good chance for all the fans to come out and support you Lady Cats. That means a lot when you look up there and see the big crowd.
Yeah,
Yes.
it really gets your adrenaline going even more. And I think you tend to play harder when there's a bunch of people there and screaming and stuff. I don't know. It helps me out, I think.
Kenzie, after playing in the 8th grade, what was that like when you come out in that big gym and fans everywhere going wild?
I was nervous but anxious at the same time, I didn't really want to mess up in front of everybody, but it's basketball. I mean, you're going 100 miles per hour, so you're going to mess up.
All right. Well, your future's bright, and we look forward to seeing a lot of Kenzie Willis basketball games. And enjoy Kate for the rest of basketball season, and with softball coming up, we'll be over there at third base and be a big part of that Lady Cat softball team. So we thank you both for coming in today. Coach Tisdale taking the day off from the coaching show, so we appreciate you guys coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Yes,
All right, very
thank
good. Next segment coming up, and we'll take a break here. We'll probably have Wildcat basketball, Clark Cipoletta, Day Hall coming up right after this. And back here on Saturday morning coaches show, as we segue now into Wildcats basketball, and kind of a tough night last night over in Mount Pleasant, as the two teams came in 5-1 in district play, and Mount Pleasant got the win. And Coach, was it a Mansfield Summit kind of game, or is there anything you can, just to explain what happened? They played awfully good defense, seemed like.
Yeah, unfortunately, we just didn't come out with the. I thought we played really reserved as a group versus, really trying to go out and be the aggressors. I thought, we were passive in some things, and not just one person, us as an entire group. So when you do that, when you lose that aggressiveness, it's hard to make up for it on the other end. And then on top of that, we didn't finish well inside. We didn't shoot the ball very well. So it's just kind of a mixture of everything going bad at once. So you have those games. You hope those games don't cost you a season. Better to have them now than later. So, we're just chalk this up as a learning opportunity, figure out, how to go back. Usually we haven't had trouble with zones, so I was kind of thrown off that we did last night. Usually we're a really good zone offensive team, and but last night for some reason, hats off to Mount Pleasant. They made it really tough on us, and just got to learn and grow from it.
Yeah, and I guess, the key, those outside shots generally not falling, and because it was awfully crowded inside. I'm sure Day can tell us about that.
Right.
Every time he touched the ball, he had 3 white uniforms all around him.
Right, and we're a really good three-point shooting team, and like you said, when those shots start falling, it gets tighter and tighter. So we just weren't able to stretch the defense at all on any part, and I thought they did a really good job. The first game we played them, we killed them on the offensive glass, and they did a really good job of keeping us off of it this time. So once again, hats off to them. I thought they played really good. Had a good game plan going in, and we just didn't respond in the way we needed to respond.
You do have Day here today. He had 15 points. I thought he had a really, really good game. A couple of threes from the outside, and so an all-around good game. But we expect that from him, and tough job on the rebounding as well.
Yeah, he's such a dynamic player. He's really worked. If you've seen him in the past, especially his sophomore, junior year, he's gotten so much more skilled his senior year, and that's just a testament to how much extra time he's put in the gym this summer, and just really worked hard on his game, developed an outside shot. He even brings it up kind of like a point forward for me at times. Just a kid that you could put in any position, he'll thrive in. So he's such a big part of what we do. Did a good job of carrying the load, and just some other guys got to step up and make some shots to help them out. And, just unfortunately, that didn't happen last night.
All right, we'll get back to you in just a second, Coach. So let's talk to Day now. And how was it last night? Pretty tough inside, huh?
Yes, sir, it was. I know if I catch the ball, I'm going to get triple team or double team to get the ball out of my hands. And we just got to make shots on the outside. But just a tough game all around.
Yeah. Clark and I have talked before, you're such a rebounder. And rebounding, I know he's talked to you about from the old days, Dennis Rodman, and what a rebounder he was. And it requires a lot of desire, doesn't it? When I see you rebound, I just figure out nobody wants that ball worse than you.
Yes, sir.
Is that kind of the way it is?
Yes, sir. I mean, the ball means a lot to me. You can't win without putting the ball in the hoop. So you got to get the ball, put it in there. It's
all about positioning too, right? You got to do you kind of sense where that ball's going to bounce off of there? Do you kind of have to anticipate that? Or?
Sometimes I watch the ball go up and see it's going to go left or right. I just run sometimes and the ball just comes to me.
Now, I seem to recall maybe a couple of years ago, you probably didn't have that three-point shot. Is that something that you've developed over the years where you've gotten where you take it with a lot of confidence now and nail those things?
I would shoot, but I wouldn't have confidence. And Coach Silk was like, just shoot with confidence. I believe in you. So I just start shooting and put my work in, and I start making them.
Sometimes do you think about what next year is going to be like as you're playing on the college level? You're going to be in Indianapolis at Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis, huh?
Yes, sir. I've been focusing on the season, really.
Yeah, of course.
It's my last year playing with my teammates, being coached by Coach Silk. So I'm enjoying. But next year will be a little different, something to experience at the next level.
What's it been like this year? I mean, we have taken on all comers. I think last time I calculated maybe 7 teams that we've played that have been ranked in Class 6A. You guys, the Denton Gyres, the Jesuits, the South Grand Prairies, Louisville, the list just goes on and on. What's it like to play that kind of caliber of team?
It's a good team, but I think they're just like us.
Yeah.
So I think we got the advantage because we do things that they don't do. Like we work on Saturdays. They probably just go out and just have fun. We put the work in that they don't. And I think we're just unstoppable as a team. So when I'm going and somebody else is not, and I get stopped, somebody else will start going. Everything just opens up. It makes it easier. Mm-hmm. So I think we got better team chemistry than every other team. We put the work in and have fun with each other.
Well, now as we find ourselves in second place, the schedule though really turns well for us now because we work so hard on the road. We get 3 home games to close the season, and Mount Pleasant had their senior night last night, which everybody say, why would they do that? Well, they've got 3 road games. So, if they're going to finish first, they're going to earn it. But all we can do is go out there and win games. Isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Coach, I guess that's the key, right? Win those home games.
Just one day at a time. We've talked about that before. We're going to control what we can control. And my message to the guys after the game last night, it's kind of unfortunate. I've never liked second place, never will like second place. But once again, that's not going to determine our route. We still have a long journey ahead and a lot of steps to take. And there's different ways to get where you want to go. There's not always just one way or no way. So sometimes you got to take a left here and then turn back, take another right. So, that's just what we're going to do now. Just go back to the drawing board, learn where we messed up on, and try not to make sure this happens in the future. And these guys, they're such smart, hard workers, and they'll know, for a fact that they don't want this to happen again as well. So we'll go back to working hard and doing what got us, to this point, and I'm just trying to keep taking steps in the right direction.
I'm sure, regardless of first or second, you just put that out of your head. But if you think 3-game winning streak, going into the playoffs and playing well, that's what you want.
It is, for sure. You want to go into the playoffs on a good foot, on a good note, and For some reason, this team, I think we've only put together like a 5-game win streak. I was looking at it last night. We haven't won a lot of games in a row, so I don't know if we get bored of winning or what it is. We were trying to figure it out last night, but hopefully, we can get a little win streak going and then continue that throughout the playoffs. That would be really ideal.
All right. So a lot to look forward to, and you hate to lose always, but you start over and go get them.
You do, and we're that game's in the past. So if you get stuck focusing on the past, that's going to affect the future. So we're going to chalk it up. We're going to flush it down the drain and move on to what we have in front of us, and just try to dominate each day, dominate each possession of each day, and hopefully that will give us some momentum and going forward. I'm in the playoffs, and it's such a long journey. And I tell these seniors we want it to be the best for you guys. All these underclassmen are playing for these guys. I'm coaching as hard as I can for these guys because, I want them to be able to, cherish this for the rest of their life. I don't want us to come up short in any way, shape, or form. So we just got to keep doing what got us here and sticking to the little things and just try to be great every day.
We talked about the 3-game homestand, kind of like the NBA. Seemed like,
Yes.
when you're talking homestands, usually it's one at home, one in road,
Right.
back and forth. But there's a weird schedule this year where we were so top heavy on road games in the first half of the district schedule, and now it's coming home to us as we get these last 3 at home. Texas High is first. They suffered a home loss to Lindale last night, which kind of was set them back a little bit, but. What do you remember about Texas High from going over there?
They're really tough. They've always played us really well. They have tremendous size. They have a kid named C.J. Kelly who's 6'7", 6'8", who's as bouncy as any kid I've seen. He's developed a little outside game as well. And then they have some good athletes and a couple of shooters to go with them. So I was kind of shocked they slipped up last night, but Linda does such a good job of prepping his guys, and so it's not too much of a shock to me that they were able to get them. But I know we'll have to show up and play because they took us down to the wire the last time we played them. So we're just going to try to go out and execute the game plan. And hopefully this time we get stops. We did really well against them offensively last time, but they did really well against us offensively last time too. So we just got to find ways to get stops. And, if we can do that, we can get some separation.
I just remember the key part right near the end of the game where they had just hit a big shot or something. They went ahead by 1 point.
Right.
I think there was a timeout, probably 3 or 4 minutes left, something like that. And we go on a 10-0 run to close out the ball game. That was key.
It was, and I credit this young man for kind of sparking that a little bit.
He had something to say, did he?
He had a little bit to say. He has a lot to say usually, but
I heard from the players that he did.
He did. He's a leader. He's been there. And if anybody hates to lose more than me, it might be this guy. He does not like to lose as well. So I think that's what drives us, drives me as a coach, drives him as a player, and these other guys. So we just kind of had a sit down with the team, and then we made some plays that winning teams make. So we need to learn how to make those plays a little bit earlier versus, when you're down, because sometimes when you get down, it's hard to come back. For example, last night, that's not a team you want to be down to. It's just really hard to play from behind against certain teams, and Texas High is one of those teams you don't want to play from behind. So if we go out and take care of business early, maybe make some of those winning plays in the first and second quarter, I think the game will take care of itself.
And there'll be a mob out to see you. The community loves Wildcats, and they'll be in large numbers, both Texas High on Tuesday and then when Roy City comes in on Friday.
For sure. I don't know if they want to see us after last night's performance.
I know they do. I know they do. They went home disappointed last night, but they'll be there Tuesday.
No, they will.
Ready to rock.
Absolutely. And like I said, I got a picture from Chad Copel the other day, and he took a picture, and you could see kind of the bleachers and the stands at how packed the gym was against Greenville, and that just really, that's a special moment to me because it looks like there's only standing room only. So, and we have such a good home crowd, such a good student section. We're just so grateful. I wish I could tell everybody, every single time, just thank you for coming, because it means, that much to me as a coach. And I know Day and those guys, they love it. They feed off of it as players. So we're just overly grateful for the community support, for you guys, for all the people that put in the extra time to, really help support these guys. So we're grateful.
Day, thank you for coming on today. We appreciate you. And Clark, as always, and best of luck, you guys, as the season progresses.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
All right. And we'll be back with Alexi Upton, Wildcat Soccer, right after this break. Back here on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show, and we have Alexi Upton with us. He's the Wildcats soccer coach in his second year, and he certainly had a great night last night. He was bubbling over when he sent email about the game at Nevada Community, and this was a good team that you beat, Coach.
Yeah, good team. They had a good, solid winning record. They were good. They were athletic. They had the little injury bug. They had a couple important guys for them hurt. So it's good to see our kids capitalize on that and take care of a good team. We were up early, and then we kind of stayed up the whole game. We had a lot of great goals. Christian Ramirez got his first goal of the year, which was great. Just collectively as a team, we played really well.
Yeah, that's a big moment. I think you said he's like a 4-year player or something.
He's a 4-year player.
He scores his first goal ever. I mean, did the team just go wild or something?
Yeah, absolutely. He went wild. He ran straight. He scored, and then he ran straight to me, and I was like, "Let's go, man!" Like, jacked up. I mean, he was excited, and that's good. That's what it's all about. It's all about seeing kids grow and develop. He was a kid that struggled with grades when he first got into high school and failed, and so didn't play soccer when he was a freshman and a sophomore. And it's great to see that. It's great to see how kids mature and grow and get better. I mean, that's really what it's all about. And so then that's awesome when they get the rewards at the end. And then he's got 3 colleges right now looking at him to play as well. So, that's all what it's all about. Seeing them go from this little confused freshman to this, calm, mature senior that's getting taken care of business. So.
All right, and a player that's really coming into his own right now, Omar Hernandez.
Yeah.
He's just filling the goal with goals now.
Yeah, I think he's
filling
the net with goals. I think he's 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that range. He's really rolling. He's really feeling good, which is awesome because this is the time to do it. We start district on Tuesday. I think Kevin Yanez is the assist king, and he's the goal scorer. So, that's good. That's great to have guys like that are really producing the stats and helping us out. So that's important.
Kevin's got to like that role of being kind of as you called him, the assist king.
Yeah.
That's something you can't. You have to like it to be as good at it as he is.
Yeah, absolutely. He always is asking me, how many do I have now? How many do I have now? How many do I have? I'm like, calm down, man. But he loves that role. He plays right underneath the forwards. There's 2 forwards up top. He plays right underneath them, and he's kind of the link. He's the creator for them, and he helps out. Gets a couple goals here and there as well. But he's very important to our team, and every game I demand him to work because when he's at full 100% work, he's a very dangerous player for us. So.
Oh, we were talking about Omar, and I remember the scrimmage, go back to your first scrimmages that you had, and I was just amazed at how quick he seemed to be. And it could have been I was down lower to where closer to the action where you can really, where they're up in the press box.
You don't really notice it, yeah.
But it's just, his acceleration and speed is awesome.
No, he's fast. He's a fast player. I think when we're all said and done with soccer, we're trying to get him to do some track because he's a very fast guy. I think collectively as a team, we're very fast and athletic. Everybody that we play, they congratulate us. And all they do is say, wow, you guys are really athletic. Wow, you guys are fast. And, I tell the boys to take that with, a grain of salt and, be grateful, but, keep working. It shows that you have all the tools to be great, but now you got to keep doing the work and really become great. So,
go back to January 11th, and you sent out an email, and you'd played Forney, and for some reason, you designated that game as a game you wanted everybody to play, and you wanted participation, you wanted to develop depth and all that kind of stuff, and turned into a 2-1 loss, which you went, the benefits outweighed the loss in your mind.
Absolutely. That's every day in our program. We care about developing kids, and we care about developing them all. What good does it do you if you develop 5 kids and those 5 kids are studs? Well, 11 play on the field, so 5 studs can't carry you. So we care deeply about that. Good deep teams are teams that win games and win tournaments and make runs. So that's what we care about, and every player is important to us. Every player, we care about their grades. Every player, we care about their development, because we have to. We want to be deep, and we want to be talented. And so I think that's what's really grown in our 2 years as I've been here is the depth and the interest in us, and so that's very awesome for us. So.
Now, I cited that January 11th date for a reason, and that loss and everything, because that's the last loss this team has had.
Yeah.
They've gone 8 games since then with 4 wins and 4 ties.
Yeah.
And so that's a good run that you've got going. That team is just really defense. I mean, playing well right now.
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't kind of throw that game to help develop, we would have been, that should have been a win, and then we beat Jacksonville right before that. Could have been 10 games without a loss. Yeah. So I mean, we've played really well. I think our group's really rolling, and we're just really hard to beat. I think defensively we're great. Teams say that they struggle to get past us, they struggle to beat us, they struggle to play with us, which is great. And so going into district, that's what you want to hear, and that's what you want to see. You want to see that your team's really rolling and really playing really well. And, we're going into some lesser district opponents, but, our eyes is on the prize. Next Tuesday, one game at a time, absolutely, but next Tuesday we play Mount Pleasant. And, we're looking to, write some history and be the first team to beat them in a long time. So.
Yeah, it goes back to 06.
Yeah.
I think we were talking, and Andy Holt, it was my first year here, and I've never actually seen the Wildcats beat Mount Pleasant. I've been doing this in soccer since 06.
Yeah.
And have never seen us beat them. We had beaten them. In fact, I may have been a day or two on the job, but I think Jimmy Rogers did a soccer game. It might have been against Mount Pleasant, and I think we beat them. But again, I wasn't actively involved.
Wasn't there yet.
And since I've been actively involved, we have not been able to do anything but tie them occasionally. And we always celebrate those. But as you were talking about defense and your emphasis on that, what's the key to the Wildcats' defense? What makes them so good?
Be strong, be tight, and be aggressive. I mean, pressure everybody. Do not allow anybody space. Do not allow anybody time. And go sell yourself. You're either going to go win the ball or die trying. You're going to go 110% into that every challenge, every play. And teams notice that. Teams notice how aggressive and how hard we work and how tirelessly we work. I mean, Lovejoy, we played a top 5 team in the region last Friday, and that coach was just like, hey, y'all are really aggressive. Y'all are really good on defense. He said that's going to get y'all somewhere, and that's our hopes and our goals is that does get us somewhere. And I pull kids off all the time, and I'm saying, hey, you're not working hard enough. You're not being aggressive enough. You're not giving me 110. And then they go back in and they do it, and I'm like, see, that's what I wanted. So it's important to us, and it means a lot to us. And the smallest mistakes will cost you seasons and cost you years. So you can't get it back. So you got to be aggressive and got to play great defense. So.
If I think, I know it's an 11-person team, and you need everybody out there. The 2 of the cogs that I see, first of all, your goalie, and second of all, I guess David Marino. Those 2 guys just seem to kind of be the glue in there for the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. DJ is a complete. He's Velcro, man. He's keeping it all together, and he's great. He sits right in the middle of the back 5, I guess you could say, and he just keeps it all together. He steps when he needs to. He organizes when he needs to. He's a really great player. And, I think next year it's gonna be his senior year, and there's gonna be a lot of colleges knocking on my door for that guy.
Yeah.
He's very, very talented, and I may send out an email all just on his own, a DJ email, because there's gonna be a lot of people very interested in him. He's just a great player, and he's just such a smart, confident person. He plays very confident. He's very humble. He's, the humblest kid, nicest kid, so respectful. He's been a captain for 3 years now, last year, this year, the next year. He's just one of those kids that is once in a lifetime kind of kid that you get the privilege of coaching. So
I haven't known too many cocky soccer players. If they are, they do it in their own quiet way.
Yeah.
They seem pretty much a respectful bunch, and very obviously very serious about their craft.
Yeah, I think it's because it's such a team sport. I mean, it's very hard to find a player that's just all about them, because they realize that the team is going to get them the win. It's not. I don't think it's so individual. Basketball, a guy can go off for 35, 40 points and kind of carry his team to a win. You can't really do that in soccer. I mean, yeah, you can go get 2-3 goals and carry your team to a win, but there was so much defense and so much that everybody else did to help you get those 2-3 goals. So you can't really you can't really say that guy, won the game for us. You know what I'm saying? So, it is a team effort, and I think we have a great team right now, and I'm really excited to start with Greenville and Lindale this week and roll into district.
Seemed like this Nevada community game again. The early stuff you sent out, they were ranked 5 in Region 2 in Class 4A. They're a 4A school, but they're part of an effort again, sort of like Coach Cipoletta, where you are kind of scheduling up and scheduling tough teams, getting in tough tournaments. You were in the Frisco tournament for the first time.
Yeah.
And, that's part of your plan to get this team ready for playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. The only 4A teams we played at all this year was Pittsburgh and Community and Kilgore. And Kilgore we played in the tournament, they're ranked. Pittsburgh we played in a game, they're ranked. And Community we played in a game just yet now, and they're ranked. So if we go down, we're going down to play really good ranked teams, really solid teams. And then when in the 5As we're playing, Lovejoys and West Mesquites and McKinney Norths in the Frisco tournament. I mean, we're playing, Jacksonville, Lufkin. We're playing some really great teams, and all that does is makes your team stronger, and it also makes our guys see that we can play with anybody. Because they see the results of other games, and they're like, well, dang, we beat these guys, or well, dang, we tied these guys, and they lost to them. Like, they see that all the time, and and I tell them and I remind them every day, hey, you can go play with anybody. We can beat anybody, we can play with anybody on any night, and I'm a firm believer in that. We go 3 or 4 rounds later, and we run into Wakeland. We can go play with them. I know it's going to be a very hard challenge. It's going to seem like David and Goliath, but you can play with anybody. If you do things right, we play our system the way we can play with anybody. And so I love playing games like Community because, it shows our kids, hey, this is a great 4A team, and you're handling them, and you're taking care of business. And our kids really see that, and it really gives them confidence. It really gets them excited. So,
absolutely. District play coming up now, and a really, really tough team for the last couple of years. I'm not sure how they are this year, but they're bound to have some leftovers from the powerhouses of the last few years, the Greenville Lions. And your schedule starts with 2 road games, Greenville and Lindale. So tough.
Yeah, 2 teams that lost a lot of seniors, though. Greenville struggled this year. I think they're 2-9 or 1-9, something like that. They've struggled. They're new. They're in a rebuild mode. Because like you said, God, they were good. They were really, really good for 2 years.
A bunch of guys that kind of
all came together at the same time. Yeah, they had 16 seniors last year. They had a roster of 18. Wow. One guy was a junior that didn't play at all, and then one guy, their keeper, was a freshman, and then 16 seniors. So. All they had to do was rebuild, So they're in a rebuild mode right now. They're still gonna have a lot of talent. I told our kids, you'd be crazy to think you're just gonna walk in there and just win that game easy. I go because there's gonna be talent there. They play with some of the kids that are still currently there. So you don't walk into that game thinking it's gonna be easy. But at the same time, we gotta walk in there in that game and take care of business because that is somebody that's down and that's somebody that we gotta capitalize on. So, and Lindale kind of the same story. I think they graduated about 7 or 8. So they're kind of in a building mode. They got some good guys back, though. They had a couple young guys that were really important to them. One up top, Ozzy's number 2, and then one of their center mids is really, really great players. So we got to keep those guys organized and mark them. But, another game that we should we should take care of and we should handle really well. So,
how do you see the district race? I guess anytime you talk district, you start with Mount Pleasant, don't you?
You start with Mount Pleasant. I think. I don't want to, sound cocky or arrogant, but I think we're playing really well, and I think it's really us or them. I think it's us or them, and I think, everybody else will kind of file in. I think Royce City's a solid team, but they've lost twice to Community in the past 2 weeks. I don't know why they scheduled them twice, but which kind of makes me a little unsure about them. T-High, has a really great record. They're 8-4, but their 4 losses are to people that are actually legitimate teams, and they've kind of beaten some small schools that, aren't really going to go anywhere. So I really don't know what to make of our district. It seems like there's some potential in it, but I don't know if anybody's going to really truly rise to the cream, So we'll see, I think, but at the end of the day, I think it's us and Mount Pleasant and see who takes that. So.
Yeah, there's no doubt those Wildcat Mount Pleasant games are going to be huge this year, home and away.
Next Tuesday. We already got it marked on the calendar. We've had it marked on the calendar since August, it means a lot to us, and I think this is the year where we finally, write the record and make some history. We've been really talented, we've been really good. Players are really hungry and motivated to, win and be successful, and and I think our kids are really ready for it. I think my first year last year we got a sip of it. We got a little taste of it, and we were like, oh, this is cool. But I think our kids are really ready to drink the whole drink. They're ready to go take it head on. So.
Yeah, last year really got into a hole. Greenville and Lindale playing at home we were, and we ended up losing to both of them, so we had to kind of pick ourselves up to kind of continue the season. Made for a tough start, so I know the guys will want to improve on that.
Yeah, absolutely. We got just destroyed. Greenville was 5-1. I think Lindale was 4-1. We had a meeting after that. We said, hey, guys, we're 0-2. We're at the bottom of the district right now. And our kids just didn't, were confused and didn't know really how to go at it. And I said, hey, we're going to have to make some, drastic life changes. And we did, and we changed a couple things. We put people in totally different positions, and we changed our formation up, the current one that we use right now. And then it started creating some results. Sometimes, you hit a wall and you got to just go back to the drawing board. And I think we did a great job of that. And then we ended up getting third last year after being down 0-2. So, great for our kids. And our kids are fighters. That's what I really love about Sulphur Springs kids in general. You see it in basketball, you see it in soccer, you see it in all of our sports. Our kids just fight. And I really love that from our kids, and that's why we went from 0-2 to third place. And that's why we've been so successful this year. There's moments in the game where I'm like, oh, this is not looking good, or we're struggling, or we're not playing that well. But they just fight. They just work really hard, and they're always in every game. And they always find a way to win, or they always find a way to at least keep in every game. And it's just a great trait to have. So.
I know it's music to your ears because you're hearing feedback from other coaches and maybe even some of their players about, man, your guys really play hard.
Yeah, and then we hear from a ton of people. You guys play really hard. Your guys are athletic. God, y'all are fast. And that you take that with a grain of salt because we haven't really done anything yet. We really haven't gone anywhere big yet. So you can't get too big headed or anything. But you're happy to hear that. You're really happy to hear that because it just means so much to you. All that work that you spend in the off season, all that work that you spend getting ready for all these games and all the reports and all the everything, all the film. It just makes it that much better when you go out there and you play really well. So.
Well, Coach, you certainly got them playing very, very well as you get into district. You couldn't scripted it any better.
Yeah.
That's what you want. You want a team on, really, really hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah.
As and especially taking on Greenville, that kind of be, kind of an important game. You always want to get that good first step.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be Tuesday, and they're close. Nice and close to our home, and it's basically like another home game for us. Everybody 25 minutes. You don't have to go too far. And, we're really excited. I think this is our year to be really great and really challenge and be something special. I think going past district and going into playoffs, I think this is a year where, we see our first playoff win in 6 years, 7 years, or 8 years. I think 8 years it is. So, we're really looking forward to a lot of things, and it's going to be an exciting year for us. So.
I remember that last one. It amazes me that it's been that long.
Yeah.
You say 8 years. My goodness.
Yeah.
Because I do recall it, but time gets away from us all. And Coach, great job and big win last night. A good solid win over Nevada Community and keep them rolling, man.
Yeah, Nevada Community girls won too, 2-1 last night. Yeah, we'll keep rolling and hopefully good things coming for us. So.
Appreciate you coming in, kind of on late notice. I wasn't sure exactly who was going to be on the show today, and we ended up with a ton of people.
Triplets.
5 guests.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you and the Andy whole tradition. Andy was always there for me on the coaches show. I appreciate you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Cool.
All right, let's. Well, that wraps it up. We need to take one more break, Doug. Yeah. Are we taking 3? Let's take one more break, and we'll be back and wrap it up. And back here on the Saturday morning coaches show, we kind of wrap things up, but we needed to squeeze in that last break. And again, thanks to all the guests today. We appreciate always appreciate hearing from the kids, Kate Womack and Kenzie Willis from the girls basketball team. It was good to talk to Day Day. We talked to him when he signed with what I call Ooey Pooey, which is Indiana University, Purdue University at Indianapolis. And I've seen a swimming pool there that's quite nice. My brother's in swimming, and we were at the Indy 500, and he showed me the campus, and we went by and visited, and they have a marvelous swimming pool there. was very much an interest to my brother, but that'll be a nice place for Day Day, and I'm sure he can shine. We appreciate having him, appreciate Clark, and we appreciate Alexi Upton too, and all of the guests on the Coaches Show. And that's going to wrap it up for this Saturday. We thank you for joining us. I'm Don Julian, and so long, everybody.